great advantages we've had the last 2 years is we've had a 100% Republican federal delegation. And I'm honored to have known many of them for a number of years, and it's been a pleasure to work with them. They provide great leadership and guidance to your officers in the party and to the executive committee. They're wonderful to work with. They help us with our fundraising, obviously, but they're also leaders in their own right. And I'm going to reintroduce Congressman Adrian Smith to actually address the group. The Congressman's helped us not only with fundraising, but he's a kind voice of guidance and advice, and I'm always pleased to take a call from the Congressman, and we're happy to help him any way we can. So here's Congressman.
Thank you, JL. Thank you to Bud, JL, Chuck. I know that a lot of work goes in to a meeting like this, but thanks most importantly to all of you for showing up. Others have said it before, and I'll add again that our country is run by those who show up. I'm the great-grandson of German-Russian immigrants who came through Ellis Island. Very, very likely story. I'm sure that many of you can reflect on a similar story where our ancestors were pursuing the American dream. And I appreciate, Maria, your story, your thoughts for us to reflect on. And as we face the challenging issues of today, we know we've got a mess at the border. We know that our country is one of opportunity and freedom, and I want to work every day to maintain the fact that our country is founded on freedom and opportunity, and let's keep it that way. As we do face the challenges, they are many. I don't have to tell you that. We're facing this equation of opportunity versus outcome. My biggest responsibility, and I tell senior citizens this, I tell kindergartners this, but my biggest responsibility, my job is to ensure opportunity. I can't ensure outcome. I don't even think Congress should try. Because there are over 300 million different potentials for an outcome. And we don't want Congress telling people what the outcome should be. We want to create and foster an environment. Government can't even create jobs, or at least shouldn't be. And the fact of the matter is, we want to foster an environment where our tax code is simpler than it is. 10,000 pages in our current tax code. And I was telling a group the other day, reflecting on what one of my colleagues said, that our tax code is 10,000 pages in length. He said, that's more pages than the Bible, except the tax code doesn't have any good news. That's certainly the truth. And it's so complicated that even a law-abiding individual trying really hard to do the right thing has a difficult time doing that. And we know that then that creates an environment where those who want to break the law will find an easy time to do that. And so that's why we need a simpler tax code. There is a proposal right now that 95% of tax filers will be able to file their taxes on one sheet of paper. That's just one idea, and I hear, go ahead. And I know there are other ideas out there, whether it's the fair tax, or whether it's a flat tax. Tell you what, there are a lot of other better alternatives than the status quo with our tax code, and that's what I'm working hard to do. And some would say, well, it hasn't been done yet. You know what, it's a big bill, and we better vet that, because there's been other major legislation that wasn't vetted. And aside from the philosophy of Obamacare, logistically it's a mess. And I guess it's proof that it doesn't work, right? And you know, when it comes to Obamacare, what I find most offensive is that Obamacare makes it illegal to take care of yourself. Someone who has a better idea than what Barack Obama had and got Congress to vote on, but only sometimes enforced. If someone comes up with a better idea and they want to implement that, they're a criminal. If it doesn't fit with what Washington, D.C. has in mind. So as we move forward, we're expecting the Hobby Lobby case, that decision to be announced next week. So I hope and pray that it is something that reflects on freedom rather than the compulsion of the federal government as we move through this challenging time for our country. And as we do sort through these things, I'm reminded as I come back to Nebraska so often that nearly every weekend to see you where you are. That's the fun part of my job, is getting to go out and meet with you on what I call the front lines of the economy. It's your ideas that I take back to Washington. And I was telling some of you last night that the most common request from my constituents is to be left alone. And when it comes to the EPA and OSHA and all of these other government agencies, if we can get them to back off more, we've made a little bit of progress, but in my opinion, not enough. To get them to back off, and I need to continue to get my colleagues to back off as well, because so many of them think they're doing a good thing by creating a new program, but then that is another opportunity for something to get way too large, way out of hand, and then ultimately infringe on our opportunity and freedom. So I just want to say thank you again for all of you for showing up. Thank you for the support that you've given me over the years. There's not a day that goes by that I take for granted what is at stake here. And every vote that I cast, I better be able to defend that back home, and that's because I take your ideas to Washington, and I'm grateful. I keep the ideas coming. That's what this is about. And I'll just close as I have before, and quoting that famous Nebraskan and say, "Get her done." Thank you very much.